Let me tell you why BMWs suck, because it'll catch fire in your garage and could burn your house down. Long story short, I used like 3 extinguishers, put it out, found out it was a small fuel leak. Big deal, right? Yeah. Okay, so then you go to like plastic wiring and everything else. It's all trash. It's a 2011. It's a 2011 BMW. What a joke. These cars are not built to last. Another problem, if you want to lose steering and die, get a BMW. That being said, I'm done with BMW for sure this time. I used to buy them all the time back in the day when I was younger, and I always lost money. And now that I know how unsafe they are, I would not recommend you buying a BMW unless you go to the dealer and buy a brand new 2024, 2025 or whatever. Get those, no problem. This thing is a piece of fuck. This is not German engineering. This is devil engineering for sure. Car's up. Brand new, this car was like 90 something grand. And it's a 2011. Now it's worth like 5. So I'm just trying to push this thing out of the garage so it's safe for me and my family, because I don't want that in here anymore. It's been like almost 3 weeks on and off. Not full-time working, but I lost so much time and money working on this piece of shit. Imagine you driving down the road, just, you know, doing some errands or traveling out of state or something like that, and you have a fuel leak. This thing will catch fire because there's multiple spots for fuel leaks. I know a lot of haters are gonna say, hey, yeah, BMW is actually really good, German engineering. No, it's not. It's not. Unless you work on cars, you don't know. It's not just BMW, by the way. It's Mercedes as well. Anything from Germany, unless it's actually built in Germany. I think this actually was built in Germany, but it's a piece of... Welcome back to the channel. Today I have a little different project going on. Me and Jacob picked this car up 3-4 months ago probably, and it's been sitting in the yard. This is a 2011 BMW 750 Li. Li, I guess, means it's the longest body they make this year, and it is V8 4.4, I believe, twin turbo, around 140,000 miles on it. I ran a Carfax on it. It is a salvage title because of the damage. There's some damage on this headlight here. It's just falling apart. Bumper's a little bit damaged, and then it's got some damage on the door. But the main problem with this car is this engine here is locked up. When I say locked up, I guess it spun a bearing and it's completely seized at this point. I don't know exactly what failed because I haven't even drained the oil or anything, but that's what I'm gonna do today, is lift it up and drain it. I did run a Carfax, and this thing was up to date with maintenance. But the problem with the BMWs are people actually wait for the oil service light to come on before they change the oil, which is bad. I actually had an experience with my father-in-law's BMW. He had a 550M, and I took it for an oil change before it was due, and I had to argue with the management for, you know, a good 20-30 minutes, because they said, oh, we can't change it because your oil light is not on, the car's not due for an oil change. I'm like, I don't care, I'm paying for it, so change the oil. And I always say in all my videos, the oil changes are cheaper than engines, especially this engine. I don't even want to know how much this engine is new, but I was able to find a used engine. It's under this tarp here. I don't want to get rained on, and I brought it here to the house, and got a pretty good deal on the engine, not knowing if it runs or not. Took a huge risk, but I paid $3,000 for the engine. Other than the engine and the big dent on the driver door, this thing is actually super clean inside and out, and it has the soft close and everything. Everything surprisingly works for the age of the car. Look how much room there is back here. I can sit in here comfortably, and I'm 6'4", so this thing's gonna be a nice ride. And this is gonna be Jacob's, I guess, second car, because he had the 330 Xi that we got rid of, and got this. He loves the 7 Series BMWs, especially this one. This one's actually all-wheel drive, the X-Drive model as well. And there's a little dent here. So there's a little dent here and there on the car. We are gonna probably get this whole thing repainted, but for a 2011, this is in pretty good shape, besides the engine. So that being said, if you do own a BMW or a Mercedes or any kind of high-end car, you know, like performance car or luxury car, I recommend you change an oil more often than recommended, because again, oil changes are cheaper than engines. One thing that was weird on the Carfax for this car is it was at the dealership and it got brand new spark plugs installed, and then 3 miles later, it was sold at an auction. So, but anyways, so I'm gonna tackle this by taking the whole front end apart. I'm gonna go ahead and drain all the fluids, AC system and everything, and just remove the engine and the transmission through the front. I do like how BMWs have everything covered. It's all nice and neat under the hood. There's not much space because it's such a big engine, and I'm not a BMW hater. They are great cars, especially when they're new, but as they get older and age, you gotta keep up with the maintenance. So as long as you can afford the maintenance on these cars and actually keep up with it, they're awesome cars and they're gonna last. But this one was probably not treated as good, so this is why we're pulling this engine. So I've decided to remove the hood. For one, I get more light. As you can see, I can actually see better. And two, once I lift the car up, it's gonna hit the door and the hood's just gonna be in the way. So hood's out of the way, it's safe over there somewhere, and let's keep going. I've got the car lifted up on jack stands. I really need to order some quick jacks. They would really help me out a lot. I think they raise up to like 27 inches, which is probably this, maybe a little bit higher, I don't know, but I need to get some. They have two different options, I believe, 5,000 pound and 7,000 pound. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the 7,000 pound just so I could lift my pickup truck up if I need to. But car's in the air, the rear is sitting on some Ford Focus wheels and tires. That way I have the whole car off, because I will have to pull the axles in the front. This is an X-Drive once again, and I'm gonna have to pull the exhaust down. So I want to be able to get underneath the car. I guess it's time to pull the bumper off, take the headlights off, and drain the oil. And I want to see what the oil looks like. That's what I'm excited for right now. So this is how far we got yesterday on this 2011 750 Li. We drained all the fluids and found out that the cooling was low. Coolant was low, and turns out it actually mixed with the oil, and that's why this engine failed. It turned into sludge because it mixed with oil, and it wouldn't go past the filter, and there's lots of metal stuck in the filter as well. So this engine is completely seized. Cannot turn this over by hand, and I don't know if we're gonna rebuild this in the future, maybe not, I don't know. But the question is, why did the cooling mix with oil? Or is it possible that the previous owner pissed the tech off at the BMW or a service center and they dumped a bunch of coolant into the oil? I don't know, because new spark plugs got installed and 3 miles later this engine failed. Coincidence? I think not. Well, about 4 hours later, this engine is finally out of the vehicle. I ended up leaving the transmission in because I didn't want to detach the drive shaft and all that. I was able to leave it in, but my jack stand slipped and punctured the plastic oil pan, which is nice. I was gonna change the filter anyways, and I think the filter comes with the pan, so that's not a big deal. The fluid's very dark, so it's all original fluid. Won't hurt to change it, even though BMW says you don't have to change the fluid. I'm still going to do that because you have to change fluids, especially if the car has a lot of miles, like this one, 140,000 miles. This thing was a nightmare. Like, there's no room. This in my opinion, is a very bad design as far as future maintenance and stuff. Like, there's just so many hoses. Everything has cooling going through it. Turbos, PCM, ECM probably, TCM, everything probably has coolant going through it. So if you have a leak, you basically have no choice but to pull the engine and replace all these hoses. And I'm sure labor at the BMW is not cheap. But what a nightmare this is. Ended up pulling the subframe as well, with the rack and stuff like that. So, by the way, I bought this engine used off Facebook Market, and the guy was sketchy. And yes, I only paid $3,000 for this engine, but he told me it was a 4-wheel drive, X-drive engine, and it is not. So I'm hoping the only difference is the oil pan. The oil pan on the original car has a hole going through the oil pan for the axle. So I'm hoping I could just swap all this over to the other engine, and that's gonna be it. But if there's something else that's different, I'm gonna have to find another engine. So cool. Yeah, by the way, I was able to turn the engine almost a full 360 to get all the torque converter bolts out except one. And then one of them was over here, the access hole is over here, so I actually ended up making some special tools. If you're working on a BMW and you're not making special tools at home, like with the welder and the grinder, you're doing something wrong. Pulled an all-nighter last night and got the engine in. Had to swap over the harness and everything else, valve cover, gasket, everything. Oil pan, lower, upper, but it's in the car, and I have oil in it, new filter in it. Pretty sure I have enough stuff connected for it to crank. So
that's awesome.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, Jacob, let me walk around and battery's connected. You getting in? Yeah. Yeah. Yo, if I say cut, because it might spray some fluid or something. That's parking brake.
I thought this was parking brake. There's two?
I don't know. Well, put it in park. Ground was disconnected. Try again. Alright, dude, you ready? Yeah. Try it. Me and Jacob picked up this BMW 2011 750 Li a few months ago, probably like 3-4 months ago, and I've been working on it for the past 2 weeks or so, on and off. But turns out the original engine was bad. It was locked up, but not due to rod bearings. It was actually locked up because it lost oil pressure due to cooling mixing into the oil, and it lost oil pressure, and basically bank one, which is the passenger side chain, failed, I guess, or whatever. We haven't taken the engine apart, but I stuck a camera into each hole and I see valves just laying there. So that was why the engine failed, previous engine. This is actually a used engine we picked up from Facebook Market, which is always a risk because first of all, the guy was sketchy. Yes, we paid $3,000 for this engine. He told me it ran. He sent me a video probably off a random car, and told me it had 80,000 miles on it. Now, when I got the engine, I noticed that the valve cover was glued, JB welded or whatever, so they must have switched something around. Long story short, put the engine in, try to crank it, it started, it's running on 4 cylinders. Trying to figure out why, wiring, everything got switched over from the original engine, including the injectors, coils, everything. So then I let it run for long enough to trigger some codes, and turns out that this bank one is out of time. That being said, either the timing chain skipped or one of the cam sprockets failed or something like that. So this engine's gonna have to come apart, if not come out of the car. But for right now, this is the original engine that came out of the car. Car's sitting right here, 750 Li. And Jacob's gonna start tearing this thing down because we are gonna try to make one engine work out of two. We're gonna try to see what we got. I actually have new timing chains coming and guides and tensioners and all that, and the timing tools. So once this engine's apart, we're gonna be able to see if this engine is savable maybe in the future, or we're just gonna use some parts off of it, maybe the cam sprockets or whatever we need, and go from there. So stay tuned. Get a BMW, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Are you not having fun?
Oh, you're wearing the right shirt.
Yeah, I wore this specifically today.
Oh, man. Same?
Yeah.
Supposedly, I think this is the side that I scoped, and it's got valves just laying on the side, on the top of the pistons. So we're trying to get this head off first. Bank one. This is the original engine from that 2011 750 Li.
Here's another one. Ready?
I'm always ready. I'm just curious if you're gonna be able to lift this head or not.
Who do you think you're talking to? I'll be able to lift it.
Alright, well.
Should I pry it a little bit or something?
Yeah, you can try it.
Hit it with the
I mean, it's heavy, so it should just come up.
Am I allowed to hit it with this? Oh, okay.
You're
You
welcome.
ready?
Wait, hold on. I gotta get this wire off. I
This?
missed the bolt.
Now I think we're ready.
Let's see if you can lift it.
Of course I can. It's light work.
Just don't drop it on your toes, because I know you're wearing steel toes, but...
Yeah. Hold on.
What's with the chain, dude?
I don't know. Here, how about we switch?
Why?
I don't know. You wanna do
Just
it?
lift it.
Oh, it's just stuck.
Is it too heavy? Here.
Yeah, let's switch. Let me wipe my hands. It's like stuck over there.
It's not stuck, dude. It's heavy.
It's not
It's called heavy. It's not stuck.
What?
Now it's stuck on the chain. Oh, because the tensioner is still there. Okay. Well, let's look at this.
Nice.
That's supposed to not be there. Look at this, dude.
Oh my
man.
gosh.
Yo, there's a hole. There's a hole in the block.
Oh my gosh.
Yo, this block is trash. No, there's not a hole there.
These are really bad. And then this nice slushy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I don't know.
Happened from the factory, probably.
Dude.
It's savable.
Yeah, it's all good, dude. I mean, you just gotta sand it down a little bit.
Just a little.
How did this got stamped in? Dude, how? That's wild. Alright, so this is your intake valves. So what happened, dude? What happened here? Why don't you tell us what happened? Look at this hole in the block. Look how thin that is.
Yeah, I see.
Like, I don't think you can even like, if it was slightly scuffed, I don't think you can even
Bore it?
or whatever, because there's no room. Look at that.
Yeah.
There's no room at all. Let's get this gasket off. We'll be reusing that. Not. Look, even the chain is like stuck. What do you think? You good? This one's still good. You just gotta weld it. This is wild, dude.
Yeah.
You don't see that every day.
No.
You probably will never see that again.
I mean, you know, I'm a BMW guy. Of course I'll see it again.
Yeah, probably. You joked it. You just threw a joke your way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. The good news is we don't have to rebuild it because there's nothing to rebuild, so cool.
Yeah.
We can take the other side off, but I don't think we're gonna see anything cool. This is cool. This is so cool.
Yeah.
Alright then. Tools never came in yesterday and they're delayed by a few days, so I haven't got to taking this bank one apart yet to see if the timing is actually off. But according to the scan tool, this bank is not working, this bank is working, so it's running on 4 cylinders. We ripped this engine apart yesterday. Jacob did most of the work. We got to where we just got to remove the oil pump and the crank. The crank is actually good, surprisingly. Usually on the N63s, it's the rod bearings that fail due to lack of oil changes or low oil and stuff like that. But as you can see, the timing tensioner actually failed. The timing chain tensioner actually failed on bank 2. The pistons are messed up. The rods, I don't know, they could be bent on bank 2, but you know, you can always get new pistons and rods, but the crank is actually worth some money, so I'm thinking to keep that and the oil pump. I don't know, but the block is definitely trash. Let me tell you why BMWs suck, because it'll catch fire in your garage and could burn your house down and everything like that. That's not even the real issue, because I don't know why the fire started. Put an engine in, it caught fire. Long story short, I used like 3 extinguishers, put it out, found out it was a small fuel leak. Big deal, right? Yeah. Okay, so then you go to like plastic wiring and everything else. It's all trash. It's a 2011. It's a 2011 BMW. What a joke. What a joke this is. Like, all the connectors are trash. All the hoses are trash. They're all cracking. They're all dry rotted. Like, these cars are not built to last. Another problem. If you want to lose steering and die, get a BMW, because the steering is held by a bunch of plastic. Right? Plastic. Don't get a BMW. Get something reliable. Don't waste your money. That being said, I'm done with BMW for sure this time. I used to buy them all the time back in the day when I was younger, and I always lost money. And now that I know how unsafe they are, I would not recommend you buying a BMW unless you go to the dealer and buy a brand new 2024, 2025 or whatever. Get those, no problem. This thing is a piece of and don't buy one. This is not German engineering. This is devil engineering for sure. Whoever works on these, props to you, because nobody wants to work on these. I know a lot of haters are gonna say, hey, yeah, BMW is actually really good. German engineering. No, it's not. It's not. Unless you work on cars, you don't know. It's not just BMW, by the way. It's Mercedes as well. Anything from Germany, unless it's actually built in Germany. I think this actually was built in Germany, but it's a piece of shit. So, there you have it. So this little plastic hose would have been your life. Dry rotted, backfired, fuel leak, caught fire. BMW, do better.